Tugende wanya na tuyamba enanyi gebyundu. A good morning, a good afternoon. Hope you're doing well. Molejo kawansira foto wanga zenga. Molejo jolly, sima jolly. Tato tu wanga zenga. Jolly, sima jolly. That is it. Tato tu wanga zenga. Abatalina musango olusi sanyo musanyo mama kwata mwana tata sito mwana kwe kukuza mukama wa achiba kaba rachiba sina tatuze tato tuwa menga yeah. Jolly, so jolly. Hope you had a good night and a good morning. Today is the 30th. Our Muslim community finished fasting. Hope they are not bringing bad manners unnecessarily. You can change the world. You see, people are waiting for fasting to end and they bring out their manners. Tell them we are here. We are watching. When you wake up and you're feeling healthy, you shake the bones on that lovely Sunday. Jolly, so jolly. Tato tuwangu zenga. Joy for life. You can change the world if you save a life. You can change the world. If you save a life, you can change the world. Every day have someone you can save. Change your world. We were given hands to save a life. As you want to be supported, use your hands to support someone out there. Plant seeds whose fruits you can eat. Plant seeds because your children need the tree. Whatever you're doing it for your children. And you make sure it glorifies God. Because at the end of the day, a human being is just a food eater. For them, they are there to eat food. That is why food brings people together. But tell them to do work. They will be like, jolly, so jolly. Fetuze tato tuwangu zenga. Jolly, so jolly. Fetuze tato tuwangu zenga. Nawazana wo abatalina musango. Obudde senyo tubitaddemu muzanyo. Mama kwata mwana tata suto mwana. Okukuba omwana si kwe kukuza. omwana mulaga kkubo lya Mukama. Lwaki basina tetuze tato tuwambenga Jolly sabo jolly fetuze tato tuyanguzenga Jolly sabo jolly. Omwana mukuzi omuyigirize we bakozesa amatu n'omumwa. My life, you can change the world. If you save a life, you can change the world. If you save a life, you can change the world. Because you're not going to be there for your children all the time. So whatever you're giving them, whatever you're teaching them, is going to help them survive a wave. What you have faced is not what your kids are going to face. It works completely different. Because generations keep changing. Trends are changing. And if that child of yours cannot stand on their two legs and say no, and say yes, if that child of yours cannot stand to defend themselves, the world is going to beat the hell out of that child. I hope you will live long to see your children become old in age. My father has no 20-year-old in the house. He has old people he sits with and we discuss issues. He has no one he's worried about that bagina mukwatira musango. He made sure that we know what is right and wrong. He made sure that our character does not put his name in the mud. He refused to give us his name. He said we do not know how to make a name, so he's like, use your names. Then you'll know the power in a name. So whatever I became, whatever I decide to do is my business. And I fly the way I want. If I know that there is a storm outside or it's going to rain, it's me to know whether I carry my umbrella or my gumboots. If I wait for my dad to tell me to carry the umbrella, I will not get that. He did not hide us away from, you know, their parents who keep their kids inside. There's how parents treat their kids, Notuka kumwana nga tasobola kuoza wadde underwear. Tasobola kuoza kaleega ke. Talina kyasobola. Mboza okwogera. Babeerayo nga bamanyi okwogera abaana manatu. Gakana kakugamba you are stupid. N'okatunuulira akagamba you are stupid. Like I get so mesmerized when I see people's kids. And the words they speak. N'omugambako n'agamba sigwa nzaala. Then why do you allow your kids to get out if you don't want anyone to tell them not to do the wrong things? Ense kuba kibooko. Ensi nga yakukutteko n'ekuwujja. Kireka leero kirasi yalireke nakubirako mu Luganda. Ab'olusunku kajjamba. Ensi nga yakukutteko. A ship without a compass can't move anywhere. Don't be that ship without a compass. Oh, there is having a compass and you don't know how to use it. That is also an issue. And you're supposed to have a compass, you're supposed to have a torch or a lamp. You're supposed to have a navigator in your life. These are very important things in life. As a must, you're supposed to make sure your child's bag or backpack has a flashlight or a torch. Make sure they have a compass just in case. Make sure they have a phone, and make sure you teach them how to say hello to when they're walking around to good people. Because you don't know whether you're going to be with your parent for the rest of your life. I've been alone for too long that I learned how to make my own decisions. They did their part, and the other part is mine. I chose not to do certain things because there is a particular kind of lifestyle I wanted. I'm not so good with waiting for people to do stuff for me. I do my own stuff. I think for myself. Where I am, I can do anything I want at any time to you. But I chose not to do certain things because there is a particular lifestyle I want. I want to see myself at 60, at 70, at 80 when I'm still intact. The decisions you're making today should be able to support you out there. You're supposed to have a navigator in your life. You know, there was someone yesterday, they told me, yabadde alina gwawaana nga bw'ayogera obulungi, nga bw'ali omulungi, nga bw'alina amagezi, you know. Ne mugamba, munange nange nja kufunayo ampaana, aŋŋamba nga bwe ndi omulungi, nga bwe nnina amagezi, nga bwe njogera obulungi, nange nja kufunayo munnange ansapooti, nga nti omanye ebyange byakwegayirira. I sent the message direct to the person. And the person went silent. Nambuza, do you know that I also teach? Yangamba chimunti touch feeding. And that person is supposed to be part of the people. Bosubira nti balina okubeera ku ggaali yo. Naye nze obulamu bwange sisuubira muntu yenna kubeera ku ggaali yange. Sirina nnyo bigambo biwooma. Nze nkubulira reality, and that's it. You like it, you take it or you don't. Bw'oba oyagala to assure me and tell me what your opinion is, I also have an opinion. And if you want me to respect your opinion, you're going to learn to respect my opinion. I've moved with very many people who don't want to listen to my opinion, but they want me to listen to their opinion. I was like, you know what? Some people thought I cannot say no, excuse me. They thought I'm a joke. I'm not a joke. Neither am I a joke. Nzanya matatu, by the way. Joy of life. You can change the world if you save a life. You can change the world if you save a life. You can change. I've lived a life where people tend to put a limit on me, giving me their opinion. Trust me, I can listen to your opinion. When you come to my side, I give it to you straight. I don't, and when I'm giving it to you straight, I'll give it to you the way it is. And you sort yourself, you fight with your computer or your phone. You don't like my opinion, you stay out of my circle. Or you stay out of my way, because lately when I'm moving, I don't stop. Because I'm a ship with a navigator and a compass. I'm not a blind salesperson. I sail knowing where I'm going. I've been under waves, huge waves, when I'm alone. I started being under huge waves when I was 20. I had to make decisions for over 11 people. Sizanya nnyo zzaala, obulamu bwange tebuzanya zzaala. I don't try and error. I don't just do things. Because manyi kikyendi ne kyenjagala. My father raised a very strong person who can stand on my own at any time T. And I can do without certain things. When chifuna, it's as simple as that. When I was at the university, people asked who I am. Especially the boys. They would lie to girls how the hall of residence is locked, and the girls ended up sleeping in the other halls of residence. I'm sorry. I could not see myself having a relationship at the university. You're sharing a room with someone. Like, I respect people and how they do their things. When I was at school, it was school and that's it. I had all the fun I wanted to have. Just to like border board. Solome. Hey, I told the boys, you want to take me out? Sit to like border board, sinagarwala pneumonia. Nemgamba nze ngende ntule yonkomberera akacupa empewo empite mu pneumonia ja kunkwata. Aye. Naye ng'awoze ebyo mama asobola muletera ovacado ku university. Nga zirabirira eka nze nzirina ziva ku sente ze batuwa ku government batuwanga $100, which is $35. Nze atatula ku board. Yeah. Nga ndaba abawala nga babonaabona n'abavubuka abatalina amagezi. Ate koloka mikono gyange basinga abalenzi. Nabeeranga mu biboozi byabwe ne mbawulira how they talk about the girls. Ne ngamba nze Esther. Era efuka emboozi y'abana abalalo. Apaana. Naye ate nga bawala tebayiga. Nga kwoza n'akukyawe nkyaguni ne ngamba apaana. I had a good time at the university. I laughed a lot. I miss my school days. When I out taking a manit in the mujeres mulunch, cutting our Sudani band. Nothing of Jerica Kwanga could be expensive. Gaboness in Bamo Kunjere go no of jungle nude because I could be something else. That and Kakoras hours no. Yamba banabo cause toman chigenda kutukawo encha. Abanabo, someone is going to step on them. We have family members who step on people. So when you need a coin making a shuanti and got to jamba de amaji. I would just keep quiet and look. My family members thought I don't talk because they had never seen me. That's why when I started teaching and talking, they were like, yeah, I know you have that child who surprises you. Be careful with those kids, please. Watch over them. Pay attention to all your children. The silent ones are very dangerous. We can burn. Just watch. Mwana akochera mu nyumba n'ogamba wow. Nenka checho olunaku lulirwa Sunday abasiraamu mwebale kusiiba naye temukomawo tuwemula mubeere hole nga bwe mubadde essanyu tulina lingi kubanga titwaleese kibooko. Ojjayo omumwa olina okuba nga weesobola nga toli wansindika njako mu nsondereko ojja okuvuma abantu. Bwe kibeera naye bw'obanga okyali mu link in the bio tujja tuwagire ka business ko awo wajja kubaawo ekikyamu mwana. Siina nnyo kisanye kye baakiriza atunula. Eno sizoni tulina abantu balina mpisa oba tolina mpisa okolola. Abaana bammwe mubayigiriza empisa mu bantu. Kubanga omwana osinza musanga wano ng'ali stranded and I look the other side. Naye omwana we bw'anajja nga talina mpisa nga bw'omugambako nga teeka omumwa mu nnyindo ng'atunula eri. ewange tomusindika katusigaze omukwano sigaza abaana bo. Sigaza abaana bo tusigaze omukwano. Nsagala abaana batwawule kubanga tebamanyi gye tuvudde nga tuyiriba. Yonontaluza ekizaliwa Katonda kiwangula ensi ye. He's a fighter, redeemer, defender. Atagala mugambako teyazalibwa. You stay out of my lane. Nze siva mu lane yange. Enkoko etakulira obwana bwayo sirinkana ka nkoko. Simanyi bya kunkubirayo kasimu nti nze yakubye essimu bantaase. Sibimanyi ebyo. Nze nendayo neneeyogererayo ne binnema nenvaayo ne batampa. Nolowooza nti mbeera ya lubeerera. Naye bw'omusemberera ogenda okulaba nga bikyusizza. Nze ndi kiti kya muwogo gy'okanyuga gyekulira. Bwe bulamu bwange so. Omwana wo bw'omuleeta mu ssaako yange kye ŋŋenda omusomesa. Ngenda muyigiriza we booza akaleega, we booza ndaweya. Tukooya abasajja balina ndaweya eziddugala. Boys, parents is boy children. Abaana bamwe mbayigirize ku mpisa n'ekintu kiri bubi. Omusajja omukulu ng'ayambala ndaweya egubye, ng'ayambala vesti ezigubye. Apaana. Abazadde mutuyambe tubegayiridde. Gotoseka kiri kizibu muko. Nati ze nnyenyinyala nnyo. My friends at the university thought I love hugs so much. Nedda mukwano. Nali njagala kuwulira oba owunya bulungi. Nga tunula mu kirevu kyo. Saagala nnyo kulaba situka mu kirevu kya musajja. Amatu ago, abaana mbayigiriza okunaaba amatu gabeera makya. Muyigiriza okunaaba eno emabega w'amatu ne munda mu matu. Maama ng'okomyewo okuva ku mulimu, kebera abaana babaanaabye. Omwana mukebere tebamanyi kwekuuta eno ku kigere we bati. Eno ku anko tebamanyi kunaazaayo. Omwana mukebere mu mugongo. Abakazi abakulu balina emigongo egyaguba n'abasajja. Nomutunulira mu nnyindo nga yonna eddugala. Yes, that is the other side of me I was hiding. Buli omu abeerako n'ebyakweka. Lwakuba nze embeera eno mu silent mode. Nnyumirwa nnyo eyo n'embeera eyo neeseka nga talina byakola. Abaana bamwe mbayigiriza okunaaba, abaana bamwe mbayigiriza okubuuza abantu. I used to talk with my dad nga tutambula abuuza abantu ne ngamba omusajja lwaki atukooya. Nga tonatuuka mu nsi etali yammwe nga bazadde bo tebaliiyo. Something nice happened yesterday. Katonda omanyi ye bw'akwagala. If your countrymen don't love you and they treat you like dirt and trash, God sends people who find you. Mwemukaba America. Eno nina abazungu otambula kabagoberera n'omubuzo badde ki. Oli muyayi. Nga bulaba abazungu we batambula nga bwalisanga omuddugavu nga akwata wati akasawo. Kati nze ntambula nga abazungu bambako emabega. Twagala kwogerako naawe. Nyamugamba hello. Omuzungu yali akusabyeko ennamba ye y'essimu. Omuzungu ng'alina effamire ye. N'agamba bulijjo nkulaba ng'onsanyusa. Otinakalimu amagezi. Nogamba ye. Mzungu nagamba, I think what you have can help children out there. And I have what it takes to connect you. Omanyi sibeera nnyo mu excitement. Jira jenkutera, as in how you come is how I receive you, how I take you, what you see is what you get. Nemugamba, okay. Nangamba, you just say, and it is done. It's a couple. Omuyayi oba omulaba. Nze gye mbeera teri babayaayi. Ye munaasonyiwamukko just kayala. Nze gye mbeera sibeera mu kisenyi. Nze mbeera eno mu magi. Ewali abaalagirwa. Abaakolamu. Eno gye mbeera wabeerayo R.I.P yekka. Bateekawo n'akapande, don't solicit here. No, I'm just telling you, Katonda bw'aba yakuwa omukisa nga yakugulidde. I'm showing you what it is. Abaddugavu abasinga babasosodde everywhere. Nze nebaza Katonda nti ate abazungu tebansosodde abaddugavu be bansosodde. Omuli Abannayuganda n'abaddugavu abava mu Sendala. Abazungu abaddugavu babuuza oyo lwaki ayogera n'abazungu. Nembuuza lwaki nga sogera n'abazungu. It's about presentation, it's about confidence, and you tell them what you think, and as in, they stand and listen. Abantu abakola mu maje, bakola mu Pentagon, bakola mu White House, abantu abaalagirwa. Essa tolina amagezi, nedda nnyumirwa nnyo ebintu tebinyumira nnyo. Nedda munasonyiwa. Waliwo yambuuza, Esther, okikola otya okubeera eyo? As in, many people have asked such questions. They're like, what is she doing there? What you're doing there is what I'm doing here. Nze no bannwanira bulwanizi. Kati ebyokuseka tubiveeko, soke tubiveeko. Eno bannwanira bulwanizi. Eri nga mwe mungobaganya, eno bannwanira bulwanizi. Tugenda kutuuka ekiseera ng'essimu yange okikuba nga bakugamba, sorry, can you leave a message? Kati bw'oba olina ku matatu, zanya n'abaana bo matatu. Bayigiriza okuzanya matatu. Kati nina bu matatu buno buliko njagala nnyo ebifaananyi. Kati ebifaananyi ebyo, courtesy of my father, these are things that keep me busy. I know how to play with my, like, sirinda kuzanya n'abantu, zezanya nzekka, nze ntula n'enjogera nzekka. I keep myself busy so that I'm not idle. So, bukadi buno buliko different animals. Abaganda bayina clans. And some people tend to look like the animals. Mu clans mwebava. This is called a secretary bird. Kaine ekirevu. Nesima ibulungi bakayita mu Luganda nja kufuna obw'Oluganda. Kati ku kadi kuno kuliko. This thing has the big 5, but they missed. One of them is not supposed to be the big 5. When you don't see an ape, okay, I think this is East Africa. Uganda has the big 5, and we have the ape on the big 5. Gorilla. Obulamu bwo ino kubeera ne makwano bo bataano nga goli namba 6. Abataano bano balina okuba nga osobola okubabeererawo, basobola okubeererawo. nina abataana abo mu bulamu bwange. No matter what, they don't walk away. Bo bakkiriza nti bwentyo bwenfaanana ne banjagala nga bwenfaanana. There are 5 friends of mine. They go extra miles for me. Ze namba mukaaga. And they've been there, they've seen me cry, they've seen me struggle. Those are people benkubira nga kindidde. Ne mugamba wabitegedde. Chiganyi. They advise me, they laugh with me. Tebandabako kizibu. Abantu abatangeya. Abantu abamanyi bakadde bange bibakwatako. Abantu abamaking sure nti bakadde bange balina buli kye neetaaga. They are my strong pillars. Erisaako ne bw'oyogera ki era bajja kutunuulira. They live a silent lifestyle. We love our privacy. We are not they are not social media. They have accounts on Facebook, but we live our private lives. We don't post things anyhow. They don't post their families just like that. If they have posted their families, it's once in a while. Ogenda omusanga nga taddeyo abaana be oba omwami we oba mukyala we. They have jobs. Babeera busy most of the times. My circle of friends, erimu ba engineers, erimu ba doctors. Byebintu byaffe. We have we sit there and laugh. I've known them for quite a long time. We are all strong in something and we all bring something on the table. We are not leeches. Funaye bakwana bo nga they are not leeches mbulamu bo. Leech ogimanyi. Abaana bo bayigiriza obutabeera leeches. Leeches suck blood. Leeches zibeera mazzi. They swim very fast. Ate bwebeekwa eyambuka. Zitakubeera ogendeyo mu bibira eyo ebibira ebibeeramu amazzi ebibeera nga wetland naye nga kibira. Bweba eyambuka ku mubiri gwo tojja giwulira. Njogera ku balya mu lulime ne mu luzise. Abaana bo bayigiriza obutalya mu lulime ne mu luzise. Abaana bo bayigirize to be on one side. Ekibi kiba kibi ate ekibi tukyogerako. Bw'oba teyagala kugambako, oluggi lubeerawo wali. And we respect each other's privacy. We go out. I think one is here. I'm here. One is in Canada. 2 are in Uganda. One was in the UK, Navajo. Abakati ali Malaysia. They are all there because of work. Some are permanent citizens wherever they are. Once in a while. One is very silent, but she's always available. Like, we keep in the loop of each other to know, to follow up. Bebafa bakuba essimu n'ogikuba wansi ne tunyumya eby'omwaka mulamba wansi naye nga bya mwaka mulamba. Ne tubuuza kati tugenda kola tutya tuseewa like that. When one of us has problems, you won't see all of us. We use one to stand in the gap for us and represent us. No, just njigiriza abaana bo bafuneyo bakwano baabwe abo. I want us to read something. Neno lero ndabika nze kwonoona ku data just. I have those moments where kati ennaku zino kola byenjagala mukwano. Wali abali baagala nkole bye baagala. Ninamu emputtu sometimes. Na, 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 na. Hey, yeah. Nze bwondeetako ebbugumu ogwa wali. Bugu simusobola. I could overcome the world. You're not so. Echizali wakati nachiwangulensi. He's a fighter. Lero lwa Sunday mwasabye. Anyeriye abantu yabalooza nti bo bali important okusinga abalala. Naggendi important, my friend. Abaana bo bagenda ku representing maaso eyo. Of course abaana baba bato abantu babeerayo nga bakugamba bananga ina abaana abato. Omanyi nina abantu abamu n'omubuuza obadde naawe waliko omuto. Naawe waliko omuto. You know how this works. Atabeerangako omuto yayogera ebingi. Atunulira akaana kayina eminyira. Okay, presidential roles. As President Warren G. I'm reading from A Glorious Burden and the American Presidency. I want to know your role in society and why you're even there anyway. Gwe society ojigata coach. Yegwe president, yegwe omukulembeze w'abakyala, simanya gwakulira niigiina waawa. So what? Just think. I love leadership. So here, I train leaders. I talk to leaders. We have born leaders, trained leaders. We have leaders by assumption. We have leaders by induction. We have leaders who think they are leaders. Gabona jebali. Kale baby Gloria webali nnyo webalire ddala tukwagaliza birungi byerere. Thank you for now. Mbadde mpuliriza nnyimba za baby Gloria. Bwentyo bwe mpagira abantu. Nze sikuwagira ompagire. Empisa abantu tebalina. So, si bya give and take forex bureau. Mwetwabamanyira abasinga muliwo kubawagira, so bwe batyo bwe baba kuza ndowooza, so sibalinaako buzibu nze. Ky'otakuze nga tomanyi nga tolaba tojja kukikola. So anti kati ngeri nti simanyi kuyimba mba nina okuwuliriza abalala nga bayimba n'emizika wabwe nemutambuza. Naye wano ku Facebook bakola copyright law yaluma nnyo. If I dare play your music loud, they mute my classes. And some of you are not worthy for my classes to be muted because of your music. The Esther, weren't you? Yeah. Why should I risk my classes to be muted because of you? It can't happen. Banaga katukabadde I paused you already. What's your problem? There is me risk in my classes to be muted when you're worthy. Abamu music wa momu wa bubblegum. Yes. Netanze wetyo wembera kano kanyumirwa. Mbera no kunyumirwa no by the way chichiba chindese wano. Chicheke mwana mnake school fees z'abaana. Esther Nnakimera-M.ELKMEng. Buli omu abaako ne kyayagala. Tuyigiriza abaana baffe to respect other people's opinion. Tuyigiriza abaana baffe to respect people wherever they go and to accept people the way they are. Otherwise, bajja kufuna ebizibu bingi. Yes. Omwana wo omugambe nti nno bw'ajja no ku ground gye tutudde omuntu bamugambako. Nze omwana wo nja kumugambako saagala omwana wa yonooneke. Bw'anajja nga tayambadde peti nja kumugamba ddeyo eka ayambale peti. Manya abazadde olumu mwebuza amagezi omwana n'afuluma nga tayambadde peti. Omwana ali myaka 18 n'okudda waggulu. Ate ne 18 mingi. Myaka 12 omwana muyigiriza okwambala half peti. Oba mugulire engoye ng'empale y'omunda tebeera kungulu. Omwana muyigiriza okwambala obulungi. Ebyokwambala obubireka abyeyigirize. Ekisinza okuleeta ebizibu abaana bambala bubi. Ate bazadde baabwe they don't have problem with it. Naye omwana wanajja ku ground when today nze sisirika nja kumugambako. Yawaliwe yaŋŋamba ozaala ani olyoka ogambe ku baana baffe siina gwe nzaala siyinza kwewaayiriza. Benzaala bayina sabbuuni mu mutwe. Bali myaka 8 bagenda kuweza waliwo agenda okuweza 10 kati onosonyiwa munnange. Anti eno ffe gye twakulira teweesiba tawulo olina okuba ne gawuni. Tetwambala siripa ziba za bathroom. Toyogera ng'olya. Bw'oyambala olugoye olubikka bulungi amabere n'ogabikka munda. Omwana ajja kumuyigiriza byemmanyi. Ne bw'oba owulira ng'omwana wo teyagala muyigirize byemmanyi tomumpeereza. Nakugambye omwana tetwawula. Eba tugamba ffe abatalina baana ate twogera ki? Munnange siina baana benina abakulu. Baakolamu dda. Balina abaana bansinga obukulu. Kati seeraliikirira abaana bange bayitawo dda ababo we balina okuyita. Naye ate mukwano bw'oba abaana bo oyagala obaleete tubawagire mu business, mu music, oyagala abaana bo beesimbewo. Tell them I'm waiting for them. So omwana wo mubuulirire nga tannafuluma kubanga nja mukuba kibooko. Kubanga ajja kwonoona abaana baffe kyengezaako okugamba. Abaana baffe tetugenda basindika ku ssomero tusangeyo akaanako nga kayonooneka dda kwonoona abaana baffe. A rotten tomato makes other tomatoes bad. Ebyo bye mukopakoppa mu nsi z'ebweru ng'abantu bayambadde bwereere batunulanga ebisaaniiko tebeesobola nabubola abambadde obwereere tebalina kye basobola kukola. Yeetaaga manager. Ensi yabakunya. Nga wawuliriza sitoole zaabwe ogenda kugwa eri. Totunulanga ng'olaba omuntu ku social media or you see someone on TV and you're like, I want to... Wait for the Lord to give you an opportunity to travel. What you see on camera is for business. They're selling their music. But the reality of the matter, Mwe mgana namutinkiza abazungu. Abazungu bangamba, you a genius. You know, when the black make me cry. I was like, I'm a sweetheart, don't worry. Abazungu find me very, very brilliant and a genius. Very beautiful on top of that. Presidential roles, as President Warren G. Harding said, my God, this is a hell of a job. As a nation, we place no greater responsibility on any one individual than we do on the president. Could any job be more demanding and complex? We ask, you know, when you're outside, when people are playing football or any game, when you're outside, you see a lot of things. And you think it is as easy as it is. I'm a sportswoman. I used to play baseball and softball. I've played rugby. I've played golf before. I've played long tennis before. I've played table tennis. Okuga na floating. I just Akena Patrick. I was at the university in Atutwala with another friend called Angela, and I took this okuga and go floating. Naiga floating here. Unfortunately, I'm not going to get that tuge. Atiamas into your okuga sibitu. Kati siru good day moros. Inamukano gangeyo ayagala nnyo kubaala naye munnage byokuuga amazzi tagajuwa bulungi so ate nga njagala nnyo amazzi not. It helps me relax and do other things. So naffe bwe tutunuulira president we feel we have a lot to say. Not until you wear the shoe. That's when you get to know whether it fits or not. Yeah, just as a reminder, I'm in the line of leaders. I'm in the 4th generation. Born leaders. Yes, those things. Nange si yenze nabironda nasanga nange bigereke nange mbisanga kunse ino. Ochitegete kati tugende maaso. Being a president is not talking. Being a president, you're going to be thinking for very many people. Those who love you and those who don't love you. Being a president, if you fail in your own house, you can't handle us. By the way, I would love everyone to have that opportunity. It's not about okwogera buli omu akusobola. Nze nsobola okwogera olunaku lulamba n'ogenda n'ojjako akasimuko n'okomawo nga nkyali wano ng'ate nnyimiridde. But can my feet move? Can my hands do something? Oh, it's about... And people who have not understood me are still struggling with me a lot. Nze bwe mba njogera, you have to follow the pattern. If you can't follow the pattern, siyinza kuyamba. Why I keep going back and forth, because I get new people. I get messages in my inbox. And people are like, yeah, we love you. I have people from all over. I have people who have requested me to be their friends. Now, the word friend lost meaning in my life. Nchitianyo, by the way. Because my own friends have belittled me. My own friends have spoiled my name up there. Muma, so I'm their friend. When they turn like this, I've caught my friends talking about me and rubbishing me here and there. And they are doing it in front of people who don't know me. So the word friend in my life lost meaning. I'm very sorry. Yeah, some people say I'm proud, which is okay. I have legs. They used to tell me that thing back in the day. Desigo soso chingamba. Senga wange ya chingamba damkuru wa tata wange. Nene gana. Ngatistia inza kwe gana. Nage ngenda kubiranga abali bebisiyaga bagamba nkoyo kwekwe chimala. Continue. So, to my new friends on Facebook, first of all, if you already have 5,000 people, you cannot have any more people. Like, the limit of friends is 5,000. You can do what we call follow. You follow someone. Because I do not the space. Yeah, I click on your things. I try. I have a page, by the way. This is an account. I have a page. It has Esther's experience with God. Because I don't have, I have the gadgets, but management is not yet there. I hand everything on my own. So for now, I do what is easier, and I push to the next level. I don't stress a lot about certain things, because I'm not here to make money. Money looks for me. I don't come to Facebook to teach for money. This is reality. I leave warnings here, and I don't want you to fall a victim up there. So if you think I'm not presentable enough, I want you to have your own channel and present and give us what you can on your own channel. If you think I'm confused, make sure you give us work, quality work, which ain't confused. You have had all those words here and there. You know, when you're speaking, I told you it's easy to speak. Some of you, it's your husband that puts there the camera. Some of you, you've hired people to do such work. Because you're a money-making machine, you're looking for money. At least I try to be presentable, because I represent very many people. I represent the family I come from. I represent my nation. I represent some of my friends. And I represent women. I represent engineers. I represent Sunday school teachers. I represent the church. I represent the family I got married into. I represent my husband. He's not a Facebook fanatic. So you won't find his pictures flying around. But if you know his account, you can find his pictures there. These guys have a very, very, very big task ahead of them. I respect anyone who steps in a position of a leader, whether they know what they're doing or not. I don't respect people who abuse other leaders. Man, in my eyes, you've lost the respect. In my eyes, you've lost the respect. I don't care whether you've gone to school or not. I don't care how rich you are. I don't care how beautiful you look. When you open your mouth, I don't care how handsome you look. I've seen handsome, my friend. I've seen beauty. I come from a family where beauty and handsome speak too loud. Education, I come from a family where education is on a rise. We go to school and we don't cheat in school. We get our PhDs, our masters on merit. We do courses that are 4 years, 6 years, 5 years. And we get our masters. I'm a master's holder. We have PhDs. We do hard courses. I want to say what your physical color. So the moment you open your mouth, whether you've gone to Cavendish, Harvard, Coventry, for us, we go to Macquarie University and Chambord University. Of course, I have people who have studied abroad too. And that's their business. But when you speak, then after speaking, can your actions speak too? Yes, you are a pastor, you have a PhD in theology. But when you speak, do you cause an impact? And what kind of impact? Is there any conviction? What are you saying? These guys play a very big role, whether they are bad or good. The moment you become the president, me, I serve, I'm a servant. I'll work with whoever comes on the table. When you get the opportunity and now it is you in the seat, that is it. But if you're not yet in the seat, you need to prove your worth. How? Your actions. When you speak, do you have actions that follow after you speak? How is your experience of the many years you've been a leader? What is it that you've done that is tangible, that I would look at and I'm like, I can trust you with my life. I can trust you with my people. As a leader, do you protect us? I've seen very many people who call themselves leaders and they haven't protected me. They've thrown me to the wolves. And now you want me to support your hustle. You want me to support your beliefs. With that kind of character you carry around, you want me to tell people about you. What have you done? I told you I need an experience of 20 years when you're standing in the gap for people. For 20 years, single-handedly. Not when okuba gwanga mujenti banange kati nyamba abakyala ne tubawo obuleega. Ate ffe ne tukuwa obuleega bwaffe n'obuwa abakyala. Ebyo si bye njogerako. Oyo bamuyita mukuŋŋaanya, tebamuyita mukulembeze. There is a difference between a leader and a collector. That after collecting our things, then you give them to the people. I want to see a man and a woman when they are leading. Where are they taking us? How have they helped their teams? Whose gap have you stood in with your own money? Yeah, everyone says I've helped people. You're helping people in a bandwagon. You're helping people with your mouth. You know, I've had people say, nze namutuusa, nze namukola, kiki kye wakola, ekyamutuusa. Wakuba essimu n'okubirayo essimu. Bwe wamala okuba essimu n'ekola eti. N'omugamba muwala wange wuuyo. Did you follow up? Olaba n'okukuba obukubi essimu. Bampe opportunity to present myself luddalo. Essimu gye wakuba agamba stay away from that one. Naawe oyagala tukuwagire. Omanyi olina okubeeramu n'omwoyo w'amagezi. What goes around comes around. Oyo gw'otudde naye gw'ogeyengula naye abantu si yagenda okukulonda. Abo boolaba they don't even support your hustle. Babayita banyuunyuunsi, the leech. So, agamba, on any given day, the president might have to make life and death decisions, propose policies that will change the course of the country, and then be expected to greet a group of elementary school children. I'll give an example of WhatsApp groups. I've seen people who claim to be leaders, who teach leaders. Naye atudde ku WhatsApp group, the only time lwajja ku WhatsApp group nga tuwaka business ke. Amanyi n'okuteeka timer ku WhatsApp group. Naye kati ayagala yesimbewo mu 2026. Ku Facebook omusanga apostinze ebintu nga bwe yabadde mu bakyala, nga bwe babadde eyo, you know. Naye nga ku group okuli abasobola omukubira kakuyege, talina kyaleeta. Mufiirwa wadde n'olwataano. Yeah, I told you with my life it's a reality. Wadde n'olwataano. Naye awoza yasoma political science. Era naye agenda kwesimbawo MP. Omanyi nasindika message nengamba abantu nti if you want to stand in 2026, send me a message. Tell us what you're going to do. That is Esther for you. I leave messages and I keep quiet. Kati ogenda kujjanga ebule emyezi ebiri ojenga odduka ng'opaapaala. We'll just look at your posters. Kubanga golowooza tetulina byakola. My social media handles don't carry rubbish. Anti mbere nga mugamba stand with Zaza's. So yeah. I say a word. If you don't have a business, osobola kukola ky'oyagala. But if you have a business and you're selling something, careful with your character. You have music, it is us to listen to your music. You have chicken and you want to sell it, it is us that buy the chicken. I'm a very good networker, and it's a lifestyle. My grandfather did it. He connected people. He connected his hobbies to lovely wives. Byakola size soso bikola. There are positions where you sit. Mikwano jo nebagenda. Positions as a president of anything. Tobera na nyigirako, tobera na. I look at some people calling themselves presidents. Mpozo oli president wako kakirabu ka walaji. Eyo walaji gwosobola. Eno tuli mu reality. We are handling people's lives. You start it when you're young. Parents raise the leaders you want to see. Next, you want the change, it's going to start at home. Why is my nose itching? If your child cannot talk, if your child, when they talk, they release nonsense, if your child has no confidence, if your child does not know how to add value onto others, nja kubasanga nga muvuma abantu olw'okuba temubaagala olw'okuba you don't agree with them. You don't abuse me because you don't agree with me. I always look at people abuse me on groups, and sometimes I just keep quiet. Omanyi kutunuulira nze okuddamwe mbuuza alina mpoza emyaka emeka oyo, mpoza akolawa bwentyo kati nenjogera naawe nga nina pointers. Mpozi tata, mpozi mama, akolerawa, alina ka business. Beba na batunda MTN emanya airtime kuku. Beba lengo obusepiki. Bwentyo nze boleta olugezigezi. That is extra for you. If you think you can abuse, I'll put you in your place. Nga tukozesa one. I'm not vulgar. That is not my portion. Chimu bibiri nga ukozesa F word. Kasotandike ebyo manya I'm in the wrong circle. Manya kati ono gye tulagaye tajja kusobolayo. Nengamba let me not waste the time because you're going to expose your stupidity. Kubanga ng'omuntu omukulu, if you cannot sustain a conversation and you're going to abuse me, I don't have much to say. What I do is to save you from the embarrassment. I ignore you. togenda kuvaayo kuvuma ntebe gy'oyagala kutuulamu. A president's tasks are many, his time short. His tasks are many, his time short. The president's responsibilities have grown with the nation itself. In Thomas Jefferson's day, the entire executive branch consisted of 6,479 military personnel, 1,223 collectors of revenue, 947 deputy postmasters, and 588 others. By the 1990s, the federal payroll had mushroomed to 2.5 million employees. To manage a bureaucracy of this size and complexity, the nation's chief executive must maintain a huge staff. Some 3,400 people in the 1990s. The personal character has also shaped the contours of the president's job. And when it comes to character, no president has had more than Theodore Roosevelt. Every president has their own character, and they've portrayed it in a way that there are some people who say, Character is very, very, very important. You being aggressive and speaking all the English you think you have, and you put in all the concoction of words because you studied in Harvard. The US has had presidents when they are farmers. When you look at these guys, you will laugh. You know, people love comparing themselves to the United States of America. That's why I use it as a reference point. They use the UK, but they don't understand kings and queens so much, so they don't go there. These guys, kulika batasoma. I'm supposed to be getting one which has Biden, and I'll get it very soon. Bakulaga obulamu bwabwe in office. These are founding fathers. These have families. They come from somewhere. They were like you and me. Katonda bawandako eddusu. Naawe akuwandeko. Bannange. Mwine abatinkiza omwana oyo alina omukisa. Omwana nga nagenze mu history of how most of you get in positions abamujjude witchcraft. Kubanga bw'ojja wekanga bw'oli tosobola. Eri abamu ng'osooka kuteekamu ku njagga tolina na confidence. Kati nze ntuule njogere n'omunyi w'enjaga. Ntuule njogere n'omutamiivu yaka confidence akajja mu cupa ya walagi. Weewuunya. Nze njagala ojja ng'oli soba. And we discuss. Nti abakyala tugenda bakola tutya. Ate abaami tugenda bakola tutya. Tulina abaana. Lwaki amateeka agali wano ne wano ne wano temugagoberera? Every country has laws and regulations. We have policy makers. Naye lwaki ba policy makers are breaking the law? They themselves don't follow the law. I know, because I worked with them. Sirina office gye situuseemu. I love authority. Tebakola. That's why I told you nze ebyo bya pateza mwe sibitegeera. Because let's leave that. Managers at work, they are made look good by the people they are managing. They became a manager because they know the owner of the company. Most of you cannot handle anything called business. You use money. You hire the best. That's why there are people I don't want to sustain a conversation with. Nemugamba omanyi tugira tubeera kaawo kati nosanga yabalala ate nga bo banyiivu nnyo tebagala Bobi Wine ne bateekawo nogamba omanyi ndi wakati. I would love to see another president. Kati njagala tuteeke emmeeza ekkaadi ku mmeeza. Lwaki amateeka tegagobererwa? Is it the president, the current president, telling people not to follow the law? Where are my Ugandan books? Is he the one telling the policymakers not to follow the law? In Uganda, we have NEMA. NEMA stands for National Environment Management Authority. We have WUBOS. WUBOS is Uganda Bureau of Statistics. We have UNBS, Uganda Bureau of Standards. We have UNRA, Uganda Revenue Authority. And no, Uganda National Roads Authority. Then you have URA, Uganda Revenue Authority. Then we have URI, it works with nutrition, foods and beverages. We have Uganda Quality Chemicals, they work with drugs, Uganda Drugs Authority. Then we have ERA, that is Electricity Regulatory Authority. All these authorities, they regulate the nation. And when they don't approve something, the president cannot approve it. They are given the mandate and authority to approve things. Then they report to the president. Nze bw'obanga ojja okwogera nange olina okumanya ebintu ng'ebyo tojja okuleekaana nange. Amanya galeekaana sigalina nasigazaamu ga kubeera beautiful. Mu masannyalaze tulina ERA, tulina UETCL, tulina UEDCL, tulina transmissions, distribution, tulina production, tulina umeme kati twamugobye yava mu kintu, but they have to hand over. Waliwo yagamba yiyi kati this new company UEDCL. I was like bannange. Gwe tomanyanga nti tulina distributors. Tulina aba transmissions. Okuva amasannyalaze eri gye gava ejjinja ku Kiyiira. UNVS has to be involved because they buy materials and bring them to the country. They're supposed to be on standard. NEMA has to be involved because they're going to operate in an environment and they're going to operate mainly in water. Then after the water, tulina transformers where we find UETCL. Bwe gava mu transformer galina okuyita mu lines. Emiti egyetongodde egiri ebweru. Egyo bumeme yeri ali concerned. Kubanga olwo agajja wali baga stepping up naga stepping down ne bagawanika ne bagateeka mu lines. Gasobola okukutuukako eka gwe consumer. Agola babula bitaala mu nnyumba. Bwe gagenda. Museveni atutte amasannyalaze. I was like, Museveni atuta amasanyalaze agatutewo. Esta tulina load shedding kino ki government. Namugamba olekanira mu ssimu yange. Nemubuuza okitegeddeko nti nno mulina abantu aba operating around the banks of River Nile. The water keeps on reducing in the Nile and we need water to generate electricity. Okimanyi nti amazzi ago buli lwe gakendeera generators eri ziba zigenda the engines, the turbine eba terina mazzi gegenda kuba. Ne kati onoobitegeerera waawe ng'ana atandika okwogera ku turbine. Omanyi taaba, tomanyi turbine. Turbine erina okuba amazzi ne getula n'ekyusa amazzi ne gajja mu kubeera amazzi ne gazza mu. Ne kati ze kusomesa ebyo byakulema mu ssomero. Kati nalabye abalala muvuma ab'amasanyalaze aba oil ntunuulya nenga kati buno obwongo obunaafu anyway obasanga be ba anti akaviiri be bano boosanga tava mu bbaala baafuuka ba brand ambassadors ba LEG n'obasanga nenga manyi mbeera eyo gansiriza. Musayiniza kati basayiniza era baagala tunda n'omutunuulira ate bw'oba oli ku level eyeewola ssente yogeranga bitono. Kati nfe tugenda kufunira wa mugende musabe emirimu mugende mukole ku refinery. Ese ebyo bya mwana waani? Gwe toli mwana waani? Olowooza bw'ogaana okusoma omulimu gwo gwakweyambula mubeera mu quality party pavo party na kunywa LEG na kunywa njaga na kubeera ba buloga. Ani agenda kuwa omulimu obeere ku turbine gwe? Eri waliyo safety. There are rules that govern. Ekisoko olina omutwe omunene tolina mateeka gw'ogondera. Ng'ani akuwa omulimu gwe ku turbine omunywi w'enjaga? Because we have to screen you every day when you enter the gate to go and work. Twetaaga abaweereza sipaana. Ne sipaana tosobola gikuweereza. Wenna okankana. Olina emyaka 3 naye obeera wetulisa. Bw'oba totaddeemu njaga owulira bubi. Ani agenda okujja? Omanyi mwine ebintu byemukaayana Esta bintu byaffe babitwala Tanzania babitwala. Omanyi bw'ovangayo okwogera mu bantu beera informed ojja kuswalira bwereere. Nina abantu abamanyi okunvuma olw'okuba bavuma Museveni mukuumi wa ntebe gy'otuleekaanirako erina kuba y'abakabaka. And I happen to come from such lines. Kati twawula obugaaya and we respect each other. Because sometimes when I open my mouth to answer back, it comes with fire. And I don't think you can contain the fire when it comes down. That's why the conversations I don't want to have, I tend to change the conversation just to protect you. Our people, olaba abantu babeera ku group ne bafiirwa ne tubeera n'emikwano gyaffe nga balina abaana tebalina fees. Nga gwe yeeyita president ayagala okubeera president ayagala okubeera member of parliament tolinako oliida. Gakulabira. They're talking about the character of Roosevelt. Bamuwaana ng'omusajja yalina character. Abasigadde bali arrogant. Hey. These presidents, they were once like you. There are people who are arrogant. And when it comes to character, no president has had more than Theodore Roosevelt. With his big green bank teeth, pince-nez, and bulbous nose, Roosevelt was endowed with an ebullient public personality that endeared him to the masses. Building on the legacy of Andrew Jackson, James Pollock, and Abraham Lincoln, Roosevelt brought to his office a broad conception of its powers, and helped to transform the presidency into what it is today, the center of national political life. Viewing the presidency as a bully pulpit from which to reshape America and the world, Roosevelt extended the government's regulatory authority, pressured Congress to enact consumer legislation, developed aggressive conservation policies, and proposed an 8-hour day for workers, inheritance and income taxes, and regulation of the stock market. Every president brings something on the table. Some of you cannot afford an intellectual conversation. When you get annoyed, you abuse. Whenever I am talking to anyone and I disagree with them, then they abuse me. I don't have any more conversation. I don't have any time. If you cannot sustain a conversation with the likes of me, you think you're going to sustain a conversation with... we have people who can provoke. Let us look at this man, Roosevelt, because there is a way they are talking about him. It is very interesting. It's not in the founding fathers. It's in the United States presidents. Let's see who Roosevelt was. Let's see a background. He's called Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Let's see first. Hold on. History editor, what can we write about you? When you were growing as a child, what was your lifestyle? This man has a very interesting lifestyle. Besides the movies you watch, I don't know whether you've done a deeper research on who he was. You know, he's one guy who acted in a lot of movies as a leader. Kati gwa mumanyira wan. Nze namumanyira wan. Abasinga mwamanya Chadwick. Nze namanyira Chadwick, such movies. The Legal Lion. I watched The Godfather. Then I watched Out of the Park 42. Because I played the game. In a movie yali yakafuluma, I watched it. Mwabasinga mwajiraba late. Because those days I used not to have a job. Nga ngende yo neola movies anti nga namakwano bange bayina movies. Kati gwo mumanyidde mu Wakanda. When you watch The Legal Lion, togenda kuddamu kwagala kulaba Wakanda. Because now that is an intellectual kind of movie. Bino tuli mugundi babita batya? The Marvel the Marvel. Have you watched the Shield? I don't know if it was. What about the last chief? Esther Atevio, Bimanyi Gomanyi. Kamo kuwempete ebyenda bimetokoti eyo yembozi gyetuba tunyumya kali gerevo yo good. Tetugenda kukayana nawe. Tonyiga. Roosevelt. Franklin Delano Roosevelt. FDR dealt with the Great Depression and World War II. He led, he fought, he was the country's savior. It was written about him by Bob Gusion Jr. Did you know at his death, FDR's personal stamp collection numbered over 1.2 million stamps? Franklin Delano Roosevelt was considered a sickly child, as noted in nearly every biography. Yet he grew up to be the greatest American president in terms of accomplishments, successful straddling two of the most seismic periods of human history, something his other great predecessors did not quite have to deal with. As author and historian Robert Balke pointed out, George Washington sets the nation on its democratic path. Abraham Lincoln preserves it. Franklin Roosevelt sees the nation through the Depression and war. Roosevelt took America out of the Great Depression and engineered the country's decisive role in the Allies winning the Second World War. In an unprecedented and now by law impossible to repeat 4 terms as president, he also created Social Security and the New Deal, the bedrock of modern America. He brought about banking reform, set up agencies to support farmers and to help employ those left unemployed by the Depression. 13 million now. You want to become the president in 2026? There is unemployment in Uganda. What is your strategy like? What are you going to do for us? If the current president has brought unemployment, you as the next in line, what are you going to do for us? You're not telling us what you're going to do for us, but I always hear people abuse the one in seat, and I'm like, okay. So what is it that you are going to change? You want change. What change do you bring on the table? I want to see it. Esther, we have empowered the people by giving them sewing machines. Okay. After sewing machine, then what? Did you get market for the clothing they're making? Because we need custom-made clothing. And you're not the first one to make them. Sorry, I grew up on custom-made clothes. Next. Next. What is it you're going to do as a president to make sure we are employed, all of us? I think I'm tired of talkers and newsmakers and abusers. I'm tired of the vulgar language. Now it is time to tell me the reality of the matter. The current president has made sure that we are poor. What is it that you're going to do that will make us rich? Like you as a billionaire. Because the last time I checked, it is us that buy your music. It is us that buy your miliki. It is us that buy. Everything is about us, the ones you want to be the president before. They buy your share. It is always about you. Member of Parliament. The entire village is yours. You have a farm. We are working for your petrol stations. Yeah, I audited petrol stations abali mu government. abali mu ruling party n'abali mu opposition. And the petrol stations don't qualify according to the standards of NEMA. Next. Temusasula abakozi. Nawe oyagala kutufuga. The fact that the people you hire, you don't pay them. You also want to be my president. Esther, you don't vote. I don't what? Excuse me, I don't what? I don't what? He brought about banking reforms, set up agencies to support farmers and to help employ those left unemployed by the Depression. 13 million at the time of his first inauguration, regulated the stock market, instituted bank deposits being insured, and subsidized home mortgages. He also created the first significant federal deficit. If you want to nitpick, and he did all of this while desperately afflicted with polio, having picked up the virus on vaccination in 1921. Yet, despite his success in helping to turn the nation around, early survey researchers noted in 1936 that 83% of Republicans believed that Roosevelt's policies were leading the country down the road to dictatorship, a view shared by only 9% of Democrats, according to political scientist Donald P. Green, co-author of Persian Hearts and Minds, Political Parties and Social Identities of Voters. Now, definitely there will always be someone who says, Esther Twakukoa. Those ones are always there. The devil also has agents. That is what we call opposition. So when they oppose, then what? What do they bring on the table as the opposers? I love listening to opposers. I want to know what you bring on the table. Unfortunately, every time you talk, there is nothing constructive you're bringing on the table. Every time you talk, it's about the president is stupid, his wife is stupid, his son is stupid. And I'm like, okay, they are stupid. You who ain't stupid, because stupid recognizes stupid. You didn't know that? Which doctors recognize which doctors? Kings recognize kings. You who is not a king, how would you recognize that I carry the garment? I don't expect much from you. Please, we have the Kabaka run. By the way, don't forget. Did you buy your kit? He's making 70 years of age. My kit is still in transit. If he's a stupid, you who is not a stupid, what do you bring on the table? The man had polio. He had to think for the country. People were depressed because of the World War. They needed jobs. As the president, because he's the one in the seat. Stupid or not stupid, he's the one in the seat. And you have nothing to do about it. You're decampaigning his seat when he's seated in the seat already. Don't you think you're demoting yourself? The mouth. I pity married women. And I pity mothers. When you fail in your relationship, do you have to abuse the father to the children? Do you have to abuse your husband? Because a stupid marries a stupid. A dog marries a dog. A dog cannot go with a cat. A dog goes with a dog. Someone asked my husband, can he handle me? I was like, was he going to carry me? The fact that you find me seated on my WhatsApp group, laughing the way I want, does it give you the right to know who can handle me or not? I'm one person who keeps my private life to myself. And I keep quiet. And I mind my own business. That's it. I do what I have to do. I've done stuff for people and I tell them not to talk about me. It's when I started teaching and the Lord told me to share my private wing where I've done stuff single-handedly and I have experience of 20 years. This is my 21st year. I've made sure people go to school. People have food. They have clothing. People are housed. People get medication. When I can't give financially, I send you to a place I know that you get help. I connect you to power. You don't have a job. I create an environment that is suitable for you. I bring ideas that I know are going to lift you up. But if you want to rush, I don't rush. Those who have not listened to my advice, things have gone haywire, and most of them have ended up abusing me. Some I've never met. I actually don't know them. But they have the right to go out there and talk about me and tarnish my name. They feel they have the right because some are old in age. Some think they have studied. They're all leaders, right? A leader, when you have the guts of spoiling someone's name out there, who are you going to lead? You think when you badmouth people, you become the best leader ever. You think when you abuse people, you become the best leader. Let me tell you something. God is not a magician. He changes the hearts of kings. People change at a time you don't expect them. Having a big following on social media does not make you a king. Does not make you the best. And numbers don't lie. Physical numbers. I am warning everyone who wants to come into the leadership position next year. The season we are in, God only wants men and women who are going to pass his agenda. God does not want anyone to be in position when you abuse people. It does not matter how beautiful you are. Someone who is intelligent, you don't abuse people. Unless I do not know the meaning of the word intelligence. You don't use a microphone publicly and you abuse a seat you want. Some of you, when someone does not agree with you, you resort to vulgar language. And you also want to be our leaders. You're going to get a shock of your life. I told you Uganda belongs to God. That seat belongs to God. And he chooses who to put in that seat. The current president has stayed too long because that seat belongs to kings, not presidents. They introduced presidency And she was the first president of Uganda for 1 year. And she was already seated in Windsor. Get the right information. Mutesa was the first Ugandan, but she was the first president of Uganda. After her, we got a governor, a prime minister, something like that. Mutesa became the president in 1963. Get your information right. She used to sit in Windsor. Get your information what? Right. Ate nabagamba nti tuli mu season ya kubambula. Wesimba president n'omuvuma kigenda kuli. Make sure ka closet ko kanyirira. Kakwenza ali ati. One by one makes a band. You wake up and abuse in the season. I warned you. Make sure you don't have skeletons in the closet. Because if you have skeletons in the closet, the only bones I know were in the valley of the dry bones in Ezekiel's time. And those are the only bones that became an army. Your bones. Season je tulimu Katonda ayambula omukomu bagenda kukwambula nze ngenda kubeera eno kakola wenti ngamba evambe politician waffe omuwati bakwambudde o pastor waffe ogenda ozaala abaana ku kyalo n'obeegaana bannange naawe oyagala wa president. Making sure ka slate ko kali clean. Kubanga kati siddayo. Roosevelt, a large man who stood 6 feet 2 inches tall, was a huge personality, but he walked a tightrope when World War II broke out in Europe in 1939 after Adolf Hitler invaded Poland. The Great Depression hadn't just affected the US, it had impacted the rest of the world, especially in Europe, where a wave of rising far-right nationalism brought Hitler and Mussolini to power on a hatred of outsiders. As war in Europe became inevitable, it was clear to F.R.D. Roosevelt that in the US there was an overwhelming public desire to stay out of it. So he did. He asserted that the US would adopt a so-called good neighbor policy whereby the US would assist its allies who were at war with the Axis powers with weapons and supplies, but stay out of the conflict militarily. He famously resisted British Prime Minister Winston Churchill's entreaties to join the fight, but that soon changed yesterday, December the 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan. Churchill said that meeting Roosevelt is like opening a bottle of champagne. You call yourselves the big threes. Now these are the real big threes. You see the real big threes? Roosevelt and the big three. FDR was already ill when he met with Winston Churchill, Stalin, right, at the Yalta conference. He died 2 months later. So this meeting had Winston, then it had Churchill, then it had Joseph Stalin. They were called the Big Threes. One is on the left, one is on the right, and Roosevelt was seated in the middle. You call yourselves the Big Threes. Go read about Churchill. Go read about Roosevelt. Go read about Joseph Stalin. And it tells us what makes you big. Roosevelt announced as the country moved to war, Japan attacked the US. So Roosevelt announced as the country moved to war. Soon the Germans and Italians somewhat redundantly declared war on the US. Upon entering the war, Roosevelt created what he called a grand alliance that would eventually become the United Nations. You work with the UN. Jokolero manje viva. You work with the UN, right? Amanyi munsanyusa. I see people who work with the UN batambulanga abatalinnya. Tabanyongera mukwano ndeka. There is their spouses. There is how they behave. Some work with the World Bank. Some work with USAID. Because USAID budget. It's a judge, President Chow. And in this, you work with who? The USAID. You work with the UN. I know. How is it so far? Roosevelt created, upon entering the war, Roosevelt created what he called a grand alliance that would eventually become the United Nations. His objective was to have all the nations fighting Hitler and his allies agree not to make a separate peace with them, and to participate in the peacekeeping force after the war was won, as he confidently believed would happen. Roosevelt did not direct America's part in the war as closely and with as much involvement as Churchill did. He installed key generals in significant roles, most notably DeWitt D. Eisenhower, George S. Patton, Omar Bradley, and Douglas MacArthur, who turned the war around at a time when it was going terribly for the Allies. Roosevelt's main focus was the bigger political picture, ultimately resulting in the Yalta Conference in Crimea in 1945, which drew up the lines of post-war Europe in the correct expectation that the war would soon end victoriously for the Allies. In 2017, NPRS's Ronnie Elving said of FDR, who oversaw the planning for D-Day, June 16, 1944, as part of his grand strategy, that his contribution to the war was also largely his extraordinary ability to handle people, including the world's most difficult people. In the beginning, Roosevelt did not send U.S. forces to Europe, wanting to instead gain fighting experience and conditioning for his troops in North Africa, where the Allies routed the Germans and then invaded Sicily and Italy. This cautious approach seeded the great distrust the Soviets felt for the West, because Stalin felt the Allies were fighting the war disproportionately with Russian lives, 9 million of which were lost repelling the Nazis. And historians believe that distrust later led to the Cold War. By the end of war in both Europe and against the Japanese in the Pacific, 405,000 American soldiers lost their lives fighting for what Roosevelt called the 4 universal human freedoms. That is freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom from want, and freedom from fear. Suddenly, those freedoms did not apply to Japanese Americans living in America at the time. Roosevelt again, following the public mood, wrote Executive Order 9066 to put 112,000 of them in the infamous intermittent camps. In October 1941, 2 months before Pearl Harbor and the U.S. entrance into the war, Roosevelt approved the Manhattan Project, the undertaking to build the atomic bomb. Roosevelt had learned through a letter from Albert Einstein that Hitler was trying to develop this devastating weapon and would eventually use it. Roosevelt realized this was a race America had to win. The project was kept so secret, despite some 1,000 people working on it at any given time, that when Vice President Harry S. Truman became president following Roosevelt's death 4 years later, he had to be briefed on it. On April the 12th, 1945, just a few months after being inaugurated into his 4th term, Roosevelt suffered a massive... He's a 4th term. Roosevelt, he did it 4 terms. 4 times before he did 16 years. Hey, Jesus. Roosevelt suffered a massive stroke while on vacation in Georgia, passing away a couple of hours later. Upon his death, Ohio's Republican Senator Robert Taft, a longtime foe of Roosevelt, said his death removes the greatest figure of our time. In his tenure, Roosevelt lifted America from some of its darkest hours and delivered it to the dawn of its brightest time. No one ever did more. Key achievements. He shepherded 15 major bills in his first 100 days, 105 actually, to get America recovering from the Great Depression, including the creation of civilian conservation corps, which created jobs, created social security, led the United Nations into World War II. The United States. He was the 32nd president, 1933 to 1945. Born January the 30th, 1882, Hardy Park, New York. Died April the 12th, 1945, Warm Springs, Georgia. Burial site, Hardy Park in New York. Education, he was a Harvard student. Political party, he was a Democrat. Age at inauguration, he was 51. Vice presidents, he had John N. Garner, the first and the second terms. Then Henry A. Wallace, the 3rd term. Then Harry S. Truman, the 4th term. Opponents, he had Herbert Hoover, the 1st term, Alfred Randon, the 2nd term, and Wendell Willkie, the 3rd term, and Thomas E. Dewey, the 4th term. Occupations before presidency, he was a lawyer and a politician. Other offices: member of the New York State Senate, Assistant Secretary of the Navy, the Governor of New York, First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt, nicknames FDR, the Spinix. What is your nickname? What is your occupation? What is? Because your lifestyle is going to help us. The kind of person you are, the way you present yourself, is how you're going to present the nation. So, Kyosigo Chikungula, I don't know what they'll say when you're dead. Kubanga tulina okukwogerako. Ffe nga bannamawulire. News. Oyo history tugendako mukamyawo. Naawe genda ogula ebitabo byo weyagale. Oba olina sente. Otugambe nti olina sente. Sente zagula ki makeup. Gula oli wa makeup. Ngenda kukomako wano for now. I'll be back later. Kati tugenda kugenda commercial break. How are you raising your child? Do they understand what leadership is all about? You start with them at home. How are they leading their siblings? How are they handling their relatives? Then it expands and it goes to school. Then from school, you have to look at them even at church. Because we need a president who can pray. Because you're going to sit in the Oval Office and you start crying in the State House. You don't cry there. You're going to be challenged by other presidents. You're going to be working with other presidents. Whether they are dictators or not, you're going to work with everyone. Including the man you used to abuse, who used to sit in the seat you're seated in. Because he's supposed to stay and make sure you're doing what is right. And if you're telling me that he has put the country in a mud, what is it that you're going to do for us? For the country to go back to the map where you want it to be? What are the strategies you're laying? Can you tell us? Because you're busy talking about the president in his bed. Some others are talking about the president with the cows. I'm bringing on the table what you say, not what I said. I have worked with the government of Uganda. I know a thing or two. I know who works and who doesn't work. The government is composed of the president, the head of state. Then we have the ministers. We have the members of parliament. We have RDCs. We have the local guys. We have the kings. They all make up our government. And then we have one man with a big head. When are we getting a woman with a big head? Women, can you handle Uganda with your attitude? With that kind of attitude of abusing people, you want us to give you our vote. Because you're stronger-headed, you can talk and yap and yap and yap. Is it what is going to put food on the table of women who are crying because of their kids? I warned you since 2020. And I said, be careful with your children. I told the 40-year-olds to hide, to stay away from riots and fights. Because the devil wants to take all the 40-year-olds out. And some of your leaders involve themselves in witchcraft to get a sacrifice. So every time you die, for them they are given a tick. Sirina budde buwaayiriza ebyo tebabitusomesa. Gye mubasamize gye mugenda be babaloopa. Nze sinze nabagamba mugende mubasamize bamu. Me, I protect the seat. The rest is none of my business. You can do what you want. I'll be briefly excusing myself. I'll see you guys later. It's always an honor to see someone on the front line. And I cannot leave without praying. Then I'm going to be back later. the class that comes later, we will be reading the Word of God. Here we relate our current lifestyle and the Word of God, and we see if they rhyme. Because without the Word of God, this is the only manual the machine called man uses. There is no president who sits on the table without the holy book. I've not seen them. But if you have one, you can let us know and you tell us how their lifestyle is and how they're doing things, because politics is in the Word of God. In Isaiah, they talk about the government so much. Finding the government on the shoulders. Yeah, the weight of the country sits on the shoulders of the president. And is one man who has to carry everything. Hence, he needs a team to work with, to delegate. If you're working with government in all sectors, I want you to be careful. I told you, each sector is going to face the wrath of God. I warned people, and I remember I warned lands. My grandfather was a surveyor. I understand land very, very, very well. I have a land valuer by blood. I'm an environmental engineer. When it comes to land, we cough. You don't bring your rules and regulations the way you want. When it's time to defend what belongs to us, you will run away. We don't wrestle with blood and flesh. We don't wage war. The battle belongs to the Lord. So if you know you were a land grabber, a thief of the land, I am watching you. You work in lands. My grandfather used to work in lands. They choose things for the kings to study, I guess. Nenga checho chibera chiriya katusabe. Nze mpetemu for yes, just then I'll be back. Heavenly Father, I give you praise, I give you glory, I give you honor. Thank you so much for your loving kindness. I thank you so much for the gift of life. I thank you for protecting us. I thank you for the Muslims who ended their fast and today they are enjoying themselves with their family members. I pray that their character has changed during this fasting period. We won't find them abusing people. They will have built a character and change from their wicked ways. Lord, I thank you for the Christians who are still fasting, waiting for Easter. To some it became a ritual, but they are not building a relationship with the Lord, but they are doing it because it's a ritual. To the Pentecostals who are fasting, I pray that after they fast, the character changes, because we are lacking in character building. We are lacking so much that it's so disrespecting and very hurting and depressing that it has killed the work of God in our lives. Father, I thank you for the two ladies, the two mothers that have appeared on the site. We have She Does Not Want to Know, Zirinda Burange, and Scarlett. I pray for them. Bless the works of their hands, enlarge their territories, bless their children, provide for each and everything they need. Bless their spouses, bless their families, enlarge their territories and camps. I'm using them as a point of contact as mothers to leaders, as leaders themselves, as sisters, as grandmothers, aunties, a woman, anything a woman has to be that God ordained from the start. Give them the desires of their hearts, Lord. Meet them at their point of need and protect them wherever they are. Protect their friends and family, that they will end this year successfully and see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. I give you praise, I give you glory. Heal those who are sick, fill the gap of those who have lost their loved ones. I fill the void, Father. I give you praise, I give you glory, I give you honor. In Jesus' mighty, mighty, mighty name, I believe and pray. Amen. I will be back a little bit later. You can enjoy with your family, enjoy your Eid. Those who are Muslims, those who have been fasting, those who are still fasting, enjoy the fasting. Life is there to be lived. But make sure everything you do glorifies God, because at the end of the day, you have that day when we are not there, your fans, when it's between you and your God. I sign out. It's always an honor to see someone buy their data and come here and see a girl. Some people say I whined, I cry. You're free to say whatever you want. I'm enjoying my quarantine. It's as beautiful as it comes. Hope when it is your turn, whatever seeds you've planted in my life, you can eat the fruits. I sign out. Bye-bye.